Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
Brandon Crow watching from Hockey Canada. Writes in and he says, my wife and her two sisters all played NCAA Division I hockey. They attribute it to waiting around that chute as kids and using those prairie oysters as hockey puck. Shooting them for the dog. Here's
Bingo!
one. All the raw testicles that I collected one day, I put them in a margarine container. Remember the old Imperial margarine that had the purple crowns around it? I put them all in there, and I took them to a party, a bush party. You've been there, Moose. You weren't at that one, but you've been to them. And I was going to cook them. I was going to cook them and make people eat them and not tell them what they were till after. But it didn't matter because Philip Kenyon took one, popped it in his mouth, crunched it raw. And he was smiling, and the blood ran down just like this.
He knew what it was?
I will never forget. He knew what it was. Philip Kenyon.
That was Fear Factor before there was Fear Factor with Joe Rogan.
I know. Beer might have been involved. But the next time that we're driving to Montana, I'll show you exactly where it is, because a lot of stuff went down at that site. A lot of stuff. I'm not going to go any further, but just remind me later. I'll tell you about the bikers that were on their way back from Sturgis from the rally that stopped at our party.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show. Now,
Can't remember my roommate's name, but we couldn't get into our room, and two exotic dancers came down the hallway and said, here you go, let us give you a hand with that.
how about that?
I was 16. It was like, whoa. Mandy at Edmonton has checked in, by the way. She says, flashback. I did find glitter around an ex's house all the way into the bedroom. Now you know. No charge.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
It is. Hello, everybody. Welcome inside the RPShow. We're at the Stage Bar, Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. We welcome all 10 provinces, 31 U.S. states. It's the RPShow live streaming on YouTube today, on the radio, WQEE 99.1 FM in Atlanta. Got a very big day today, and we're going to jump right into the talk right away here. We got two great hockey guys coming down here today, Jamie Macoun and Rich Sutter. Jamie in hour one, Richie in hour two. It's game day. The Buffalo Sabres are in town. Got a big game tonight. Yeah. The Moose is here. We're on stage.
How about
this
that?
is a big change. Yes, sir. It's a big change from the last time Jamie Macoun was here. We were tucked in the broom closet over in the event center. Today, we're up on the stage. We got the third camera going. Jordan, do you want to throw that third camera? Look at this. This is the Jimmy Kimmel look that I was talking about.
Yeah.
Doesn't it just look very David Letterman-ish?
Absolutely.
Whatever. So we finally... It only took us 18 weeks here at the Grey Eagle to get it tickety-boo. So that's the deal. Can you hit the quick six show horn, please, Director Jordan, and we will jump into an octopus there running the show. Listen, we got NHL, CFL, NFL, MLB, WHL. We got a lot of stuff to get to. So let's start with last night in the National Hockey League, and then we'll go from there. Hello, Winnipeg. Have you stopped celebrating yet? Neil Pionk scored twice. And his second came 31 seconds into overtime, lifting the Winnipeg Jets to a 4-3 win over the Colorado Avalanche Wednesday night. Sam Gagner and Cole Perfetti also scored for the Jets. Connor Hellebuck made 30 saves. I'll come back to that. There's only 3 games. There's just a nice amount of games to be able to analyze on a show like this. In Sunrise, my home, Carter Verhaeghe scored twice. And Rudolph Balcers and Josh Mahura had third-period goals to help Florida beat Philadelphia 4-3, handing the Flyers their first loss. Did anybody look at the attendance for the game? I did. 17,421. Boom. They'll support a winner in South Florida. Just put a winner on the ice. It's not like here or Edmonton or Winnipeg where you don't need to win to fill the barn. But they do love the Panthers in Florida. It was a big win last night in the home opener. They've been talking about it for months. And in a feisty one in Seattle, Justin Falk scored his second goal of the game at 2:50 of overtime, and St. Louis beat Seattle 4-3. Trust me, we're getting to the CFL and the NFL and the baseball, but we have to spend a minute on the NHL because we are in an NHL town. About these Jets, listen, it was near the end of the preseason, right on this show. You and I talked about it. They got talent there. And it's not that Paul Maurice clearly did not do a bad job. You folks tell me in Winnipeg, what was Pomo's career record there? But relationships sour. There's a shelf life. Pomo had to move on. Trust me, we're happy to have him in Florida. They're off to a great start there. And you know what? If it works out for everybody, wouldn't we all be happy? But who expected Winnipeg to go into Colorado and win last night? Not this guy.
And they played the pants off Colorado early in that hockey game. And Neil Pionk, you talked about him with the 2 goals. I thought he was just equally as impressive defensively. There was a couple of times where one-on-one, he made some great plays on those superstars of the Avalanche coming down. He was really, really solid. And imagine, they don't even have Rick Bowness on the bench yet. Scott Arniel's taking all the duties behind the bench while Rick still recovers from COVID. So they'll get him back, and that'll continue to grow the culture in Winnipeg. So big game last night.
I'm smiling because there are people saying, why didn't we hire Scott Arniel?
Saying now we have, we'll just keep him
playing. Pardon me. Morning, Dion. Head of security's got everything under control here. He wanted to know how his Bo Levi Mitchell comment went over yesterday. Very well, except for probably with Bo. Anyways, listen, just enjoy it, Winnipeg. We got the comments here from Jets fans. Patrolman Pete says, the Ice win again, 4-3 over Vancouver. He says, I'm not going to lie, when I saw Pionk and company skate out against McKinnon, I was wondering what was going on. I didn't think it would end well. John Ohm in Winnipeg says, the Jets played 60 minutes of hockey, finally. No, they didn't. They played 60 minutes and 31 seconds. So let's be smart about that. We talked about keeping your eye on the ball, your eye on the puck, and maybe the Jets are doing that. This is not an indictment of Paul Maurice. I mean, I got Winnipeg media now saying, oh, how's Paul treating the South Florida media, man? I'm like, Paul's fine. They like him down there. Can you just move on? Why do you got to trample a guy on his way out of town? So those were my thoughts from last night. Maybe we can move on. Do you have any more?
No, that was the big takeaway, was that Jets game. That's where I spent most of my attention, and I thought, you know what, this is... I looked at Winnipeg, and it wasn't just that they won the game, but when they went up early 2-0, and then I think 3-1, they were skating circles around Colorado, and they showed Jared Bednar, and he was kind of looked like he didn't know what to do. Like, it's that Stanley Cup hangover. They're a good team. They're going to be fine. But there's no doubt that there's a Stanley Cup hangover.
Maybe we should have put some money on the Jets last night. I didn't expect them to go into Colorado and win. By the way, we do have a live guest coming down, not only on the show, but we'll have a live studio audience here. They just haven't shown up yet. I'm looking forward to those guys. Before we talk about CFL Deal or No Deal and the 12 games in the National Hockey League tonight, including the Buffalo Sabres here in town to take on the Flames and the Carolina Hurricanes at Edmonton, I got to say this about Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Haven't even talked to the big cheeses yet. We just rolled in, set up. They did their thing. We do. They got big shows going on. I stopped today and paid attention to who's coming here. Pam Tellis this weekend.
Yeah.
And Lori Morgan, if you're a country fan, which I am, and I won't be here, unfortunately. Tom Cochran, we talked about the other day. The Halloween Howl, October 28th, featuring Steel Panther. Darcy Oak, the illusionist, Saturday, October 29th, same night as Flames Oilers. They'll pack both places, I'm sure. Great shows. The buffet yesterday, I don't know how I'm going to try and keep weight off here because it's the best ginger beef in the world. They really know how to make ginger beef in Calgary. I went to college here. They were the best ginger beef there at Mount Royal. Might be the same chef here. Can you tell the viewers about the nice lady yesterday when we were coming out of the restaurant and what she said? The one in the wheelchair?
Oh, my God. Yeah, what did she say? She, I don't really remember exactly what she said, but she bumped into you.
She's getting wheeled towards me, and she looks up and she goes, out of my way, too tall. And I looked down at her, and I smiled and said...
you said, thanks, Wheels. And she rolled by, and she laughed on the way by.
And then he thought we knew each other. I didn't know.
I thought you guys did. I thought the way the interaction went is I thought you guys known each other and seen each other, twice a week for like all 17 weeks you've been here.
No. This lady was coming along, and her husband, I assume, was pushing her in the wheelchair, and she's like, out of the way, too tall. And I'm like, no problem, Wheels. And away we went. We're having a great time. It's the best deal in the world. We're living and staying in a casino resort. I got a gym. I got a hot tub. I got a pool.
Got a buffet.
Mm-hmm.
Very grateful. Thank you very much, Calgary. We love it here. Thank you for being so nice. We're brought to you in part by Edo Japan. With freshly made food and high-quality ingredients, Edo Japan is food you can feel good about. We got to pick it up here. We're halfway through segment 1, and then you're going to adjourn, and you'll be done for the day.
Yeah.
Jamie Macoun will join us here. Canadian Football League Deal or No Deal. We do it every week for our exclusive betting partner, Bet Regal, where I will give the betting lines as put up forth by their odds makers. Darren decides if he's going to take the bet or not. So Friday night, the week opens. Ottawa and Hamilton, if it matters to you. I read the game notes. Orlando Steinauer and Dane Evans have never lost to Ottawa. Never. Ever. Hamilton's favored by 6 at home. Deal or no deal?
I'll take the deal.
Friday night, the late game, BC Lions at Edmonton Elks. Lions got to win, as you know. Elks are eliminated. BC favored by 7 on the road. Deal or no deal?
No deal. Last game of the year for the Elks. They'll have some pride. They'll play with pride.
Toronto at Montreal. Alouettes favored by 1.5 at home.
I'll take that deal. Yeah, Al's at home. I'll take it.
And Calgary at Saskatchewan. Stampeders favored by 2.5.
I'll take that deal as well. I'll take that deal.
You think the Stamps going to win?
2.5 is not a big enough spread. I think, with the Riders and their quarterback turmoil and all of this, and all of a sudden randomly deciding to start another quarterback, it feels like I thought the spread would have been more like 5.5 and pushing a touchdown. So at 2.5, I think you have to take Calgary.
The CFL fans have shown up for the talk. We're going to be talking all NHL the rest of the way with Jamie Macoun and Rich Sutter. So let's get into it right now. On Tuesday, the Riders said they gave Cody Fajardo a vet day so he didn't have to practice. Wednesday, they came right out and said, we're benching him this week and going with Mason Fine. It really smacks of, it doesn't look like they know what they're doing. For one, I got a phone call just before the show. Darren was privy to it. Guy said, here's the deal. Riders know what they have in Fajardo. They know what they have. Clearly, they don't think they can win with him in this must-win game Saturday, so they're thinking, let's just go with Mason Fine and see what we could do, what he can do. And if he wins, it saves their jobs, and they have their quarterback moving forward. I don't know. They're scapegoating Cody Fajardo. That's what I see. Are my blinders on, and am I too much, do I love the guy? Yeah. The mask's off, okay? My loyalty to Cody might be clouding my judgment, but they're going to set, probably Saturday night, a single-season record for sacks allowed. But Cody Fajardo is the problem and the reason they can't win. In 2019, when he threw for 5,000 yards and was the division MVP, he didn't hold on to the ball too long then. But he's the problem, I guess. So we sit and we wait and we see how this turns out. What's your take?
We're going to sit and wait and see how it turns out for sure. I mean, if you don't trust your quarterback, he shouldn't be playing for you. And if Jason Moss, and by extension Craig Dickinson, and Jeremy O'Day and everybody else in the organization, if they don't trust Cody to win the football game, you can't have him under center. So it doesn't mean you trust Mason Fine anymore, but it's a mess. And teams going into the playoffs or making the playoffs and trying to win Grey Cups don't have these kind of confusions and messes on the last 2 weeks of the season.
James in Board, Manitoba says, RP Show, let's go. Thank you. From Kevin the Medium, he says, buffet. Kevin, I don't think he's coming for the lunch. I was hoping to have butter chicken in the Blaze Bar, but you're the guest. You decide. John in Winnipeg says, Paul Maurice, all-time record in Winnipeg with 600 games, 315 wins, 223 losses, and 62 ties. That's well above 500. Has there ever, you can't tell me there's been a coach with a better record in Winnipeg than that. Right? So, and maybe it'll be Rick Bowness in his second time around. But again, let's not trample Pomo. He took him as far as he could. They had some great playoff runs. This time was up. So I wish him well in Florida, and I wish the Winnipeg Jets well under Scott Arniel and Rick Bowness and whomever they decide to coach there. Anything else?
No, it's
before
great.
we move on? Okay, but we're covering it well today, aren't we?
Absolutely.
Our CFL and Rough Riders coverage is brought to you by Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Tell Camco we're talking about them, guys. Find everything you need to know about our services, financing, product information, and more at broncoplumbing.com. NBA, I can't believe how many people want us to talk NBA. I'm here for it. I'm just a little surprised. Pascal Siakam had 23 points and 11 rebounds before fouling out. OG Anunoby scored 10 of his 18 points in the fourth quarter, and Toronto beat Cleveland on opening night. What was it? 108-105. My favorite Raptor, Gary Trent, had 19 points. We're giving people what they want. But for our listeners in Atlanta on the radio right now, were they very
closely follow the Jets, formerly the Atlanta Thrashers. DeJounte Murray had 20 points and 5 steals to lead our Atlanta Hawks past Houston 117-107. Trae Young, I can get behind that guy. He cool. He had 23 points and 13 assists for the Hawks last night. Yeah. So there's your NBA update. Point 5, Thursday night football tonight. New Orleans Saints at Arizona Cardinals. Both teams 2-4. A lot of pressure on Kyler Murray there for good reason. They give him $45 million a year. Cardinals favored by 2.5 at Bet Regal. Deal or no deal?
Yeah, I'll take that deal. The Cardinals have to win. I think they're one team that's better than their record right now in the NFL. So I think the Cardinals.
I think it's going to be a great game, but I'm going to beat the Sabres and the Flames. So I'll have to take your word for it.
Yeah.
By the way, we're brought to you in part by Manscaped. They're the best in men's below-the-waist grooming, Manscaped. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. They got a new package out there, the Performance Package, the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off, free shipping, and free worldwide shipping with the code RPShow20 at manscaped.com. I'm still working with the last one they sent me. They just sent a new one, and it's actually better.
Wow.
I can't believe it. I wouldn't steer you wrong. RPShow20 is the promo code. Order yours today at manscaped.com. I can't believe how well we're doing here. 2 quick last points. MLB. A sibling rivalry is underway in the NLCS. As you probably watched last night, catcher Austin Nola sparked the Padres offense with an RBI single off his younger brother Aaron Nola en route to San Diego's 8-5 win over the Philadelphia Phillies in Game 2 of the NLCS last night. The series is 1-1, and over in the ALCS, Justin Verlander was throwing smoke. He struck out 11 batters. The Houston Astros beat the Yankees 4-2, and that series now 1-1. No, 1-0. That was game 1.
Yeah.
So that's a poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center. 4 teams are left in the MLB playoffs. Who are you cheering for? Yankees, Astros, Padres, or Phillies? Capital Auto Mall has dealerships all across the Canadian prairies, including and also the state of California. I said Padres. They have never won. They got a cool vibe going on down there. But I'm voting for the Padres. How about you?
Yeah, I think that's the viewer's choice, too. I was checking the Twitter results early, and early on it was the Padres in a landslide. And because they've never won. I think we love that underdog story. The Phillies is cool, too, because it's been a while. But I don't, the Yankees are the big bad Yankees. And the Astros have been there, and they had the scandal and stuff. So I think whatever team comes out of the National League, we'll be cheering for.
They got a cool vibe going on down there. It's America's finest city. You should have come down to San Diego with us at Super Bowl. We went down there, and it's such a great town. Everybody's cheering for the Padres, so keep it going. And point 6B, very quickly, the Canadian Elite Basketball League introduced its newest franchise Wednesday, the Calgary Surge, formerly the Guelph Nighthawks. They've moved the franchise. The logo's up at rodpedersen.com right now if you want to have a look at it. I guess they chose the color red because all Calgary teams are red. How about that?
Yeah, somebody decided long ago.
I like the name Surge. You said you like the name Surge.
I do.
Or as they say in Quebec, Serge. Lee, our COO, doesn't like it. I'm outing Lee. He said he doesn't like the name Surge.
Okay.
Well, he named all the other teams. He did. The Rattlers, the Stingers, the Bandits. I said, you favor a team with an S on the end of it.
Yeah.
Darren and I don't.
That's right.
Anyways, enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
See you at lunch.
You bet.
Jamie Macoun joins us on stage next here at the Stage Bar. This has been the warm-up, and you are watching the RP Show, Game Plus Television, YouTube Live, your favorite podcast platform, and on the radio. On your southern home for sports and talk, WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. How about that? Let's go.
Gotta hit the beat. Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Golf, Hawaii, and the Four Seasons. Imagine picking up your clubs and feeling like a pro for one whole week in paradise. Well, you can get that chance this December with 5-star accommodations, a 3-day tournament at a championship course, and loads of VIP experiences. The Pro Leisure Golf Tour is going to make you feel like a pro, even if your golf game doesn't. So whether you're looking to grab your golfing buddies for a tropical getaway or just wanting to find an exclusive VIP experience to take part in, the PLGT is perfect for you.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming of the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital Ford Lincoln. We have a great selection of brand new F-150s in stock. Drive it off the lot today. Reserve an incoming unit or pre-order the perfect vehicle for you. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital Ford Lincoln, making back to busy easy.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
You're looking live at the beautiful Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, Calgary's entertainment destination. What a beautiful day for a hockey game. The Buffalo Sabres are in town tonight, and we're switching gears if we were doing that at all. You see Jamie Macoun joining us. He has 1,128 NHL games, 2 Stanley Cup championships, the Flames, the Leafs, and the Detroit Red Wings. And on a game day, he joins us here with a lot to talk about. Jimmy, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Much more plush surroundings than the last time. Tell our viewers, you were slumming it last time we were here.
Well, I got here the first time, and I couldn't find the place because they had you hidden in a closet somewhere. And then, in order for me to hear you, I had this little 3-foot-long hearing piece.
Yeah, it's true.
And but this is plush. This is like
it's big time
nighttime. One of the big wigs now is Johnny Carson sort of thing.
That's right. Yeah. Johnny Carson or Jimmy Carson, one of the two.
Yeah.
Hey, I got to tell you something. Would you mind giving Curtis Glencross and all your Flames alumni the kudos they deserve for what you were part of yesterday? Sounds awesome.
You know, it's kind of one of these things where you say it so often you think everybody must know it, but there's 2 things that are happening. Yesterday we were up in Red Deer, and Curtis and his family, his mom and dad and the whole crew put it together, and his wife, and we had a little mini hockey tournament at the college, and so 4 teams, and each team had either 5 or 6 NHL players. And had some real fun there. And then you get a couple hours off, have a beer or not, or whatever you want to do. And then we went and did poker. And they play until 10:30 at night and play poker and make some big money. But they raised so much money, and I'm trying to think of what he said last night. I think they've raised like $5 million doing these things over the last 10 years. And the government of Canada actually awarded Curtis, and I apologize, I can't remember the name of the coin. It's like the Queen Elizabeth 70th anniversary coin sort of thing for people that are outstanding and doing things for charity, and he got one. He didn't know it was coming, and obviously a bit of a tear there, but he's done a great job. And actually on November the 10th, we're having a toast for Lanny McDonald, like if everybody remembers who Lanny is, and kind of celebrating his life a little bit of what he's done in the past. And I said to his wife, we're going to do a toast to Lanny. And she said some choice words to me and said, it better not be a toast. It better be a roast. I'm sick and tired of Lanny again.
How do you roast Lanny? I don't think you can.
Wow. We'll find some way. We'll manscaping. We'll talk about that. It's like
take his mustache. Can you imagine?
Well, you know what? Totally off topic. I played some hockey with some old timers, and a lot of the older guys in their late 50s, 60s, there's not a lot of manscaping going on. And there was a couple guys went by. It was like a chia pet walking by.
Can't do
that. Whatever you're getting there from manscapers, they need that.
They should all get it, yeah. You know, man, great to see you, Jamie. This is great stuff. But I got to ask you something. Flames game the other night. Do you go to all the games?
I try to go to a fair amount of them. But it's tough.
You're busy. You're selling real estate. You're doing well there.
I do a little bit.
But my point is, I saw Tim Hunter at the game. I saw Lanny at the game. They just got with this team now, and I've only been here a year, so I don't know what it was like before this. But just the vibe amongst the franchise and the alumni. It's a big party, and everybody's happy. It's a great game. Has it always been like that, or has something come together and changed?
Well, you know what? The last few years, it's really come together. And as far as the alumni, I can't say enough about them. I mean, we do so many things on behalf of people in, southern Alberta, northern Alberta, when we're sharing the stage with the Oiler alumni. And, you mentioned a couple of guys. Tim Hunter, he finally retired from hockey. He's doing coaching for so many years. And he's really enjoyed it. And now suddenly he's gone. He's everywhere, right?
Yeah.
But like guys like Mike Civic, who wasn't a hockey player, but obviously with the NHL for so many years. I'm thinking it was like 22 years or something. He's part of our alumni. So we do a lot of charity events, and we try to raise money, and we try to make people happy. And everything that we do reflects upon the Calgary Flames, of course. So we have a good working relationship with them now. And I'm not saying we didn't in the past, but they're busy trying to stay alive and make money. And you go back a decade or so ago, a few of the Canadian teams were like struggling a little bit, and they kind of tapped on some of the alumni, including Lanny McDonald, of course, and the alumni and Lanny leading the charge really helped the Flames, and in return, the Flames are really helping the alumni, and now it's just a great synergy.
I see it, man. It's awesome. It's positive. But Lanny did tell me the story, as far as his was, that he got a call from the team, and they're like, we need you back, Lanny. You're the soul of this outfit. Well, it didn't take much.
No. I mean, and it's like he does everything. And last night when we were talking about this thing for Curtis Glencross and Ronald McDonald House up there in Red Deer, one of the gentlemen there said, I don't think everybody remembers this, but 1984, Lanny was like one of the guys on the board that helped start the Ronald McDonald House in Alberta, and but like he was part of the Special Olympics back in the late 70s in Toronto. I mean, that's just who he is, and that's how his family is. And so when we came in as youngsters, full of piss and vinegar, thinking we know everything about everything, we had a chance to see it in action, and like Lanny spending half an hour extra signing autographs. Well, we've already gone up to our hotel room, and we're still looking out the window, seeing Lanny sign, and we're going like,
doesn't stop.
Why the hell is he signing? Like, what's he doing? He's our star, and like, hey, maybe fame is fleeting, right? And for a while there, you kind of hate it, but then when it's gone, for most people, it's gone. For Lanny, it's never going to be gone, and that's one of the things that I try to instill in my kids, and it's things I've learned from my relationship with Lanny and some of the other guys in the NHL from before me, and hopefully that passes down to my kids, and they all turn out to be good.
Two-time Stanley Cup champion Jamie Macoun was with us here at the Stage Bar at Grey Eagle. And before I turn our attention to this year's Flames, every time I have you on, I have to tell you that Winnipeg is number 5, I think. Number 4 for viewership for this. You know where I'm going with this.
Oh, yeah.
Can you refresh my memory why they hate you so much and still do?
Oh, I'm such a goal scorer. That's why
That's funny.
I got too many goals.
You have some drinks down there?
Yeah, there was maybe 4 goals in 12 years. Unfortunately, Dale Howard-Chuck, unfortunately for me, Dale Howard-Chuck at the time was, he was right there with Wayne Gretzky as the best player in the league. And in some games, he was definitely the best player in the league. And what people don't realize is, fast forward, he came in on me around the blue line. I went to hit him. Typically in that era, there was a lot of hacking and whacking going on, a lot of cross-checking going on. And I cross-checked him, but I assumed I'd just be cross-checking his body. And, he'd kind of bounce off a little bit, and I'd slow him down and hopefully stop him from going to the net. But he decided that he was going to hop around me and kind of raised his arm up and thought he was somehow going lateral, but he didn't. He just went straight at me. And when I went to cross-check him, I broke 2 or 3 ribs, and that kind of ended the hopes for the Winnipeg Jets winning the Cup that year. And to this day, I have people still comment on me and on social media, or was it 3 years ago? We were at the Stampede, and 2 people behind us in a line are talking about me, and they're using swear words.
Not nicely.
And they're going, is that who that we think that is? And like, we should kick him out, his ass, and blah blah blah. And I'm with my wife there, and she goes, "All right, do I have to get involved in this? Like, what's going on here?" But it happens all the time. And what people from Winnipeg don't realize is that I had a chance to meet him like a year later, one-on-one, for a good talk, and he apologized to me because he knew the amount of heat that I took from it, and he realized, like, I don't know what I was doing. It was just stupid. I just jumped right at you. I knew you were going to cross-check me, and the rest is history.
Did you think it would last this long? The hate? Man, people don't give up on these things easily.
No, it still goes on all the time, and I'm not sure I said the same story, but about 4 years ago, I was at a little junior game, and a guy I know from my neighborhood shows up, and I say, "Hey, come on over and sit down." He sits down with me, and I go, "Who's that? It looks like your brother or something." I go, "Yeah." I go, "Call him over." He won't come over. I go, and I just look at him. Winnipeg? Yeah, he still lives in Winnipeg. He was visiting for Christmas, and he wouldn't be seen with me. He wouldn't talk to me. He wouldn't come anywhere near me. But that's the passion of sports and the passion of hockey.
Well, I guess the great thing is, you don't look any different. Lanny doesn't look any different. Tim certainly doesn't look any different. And it's awesome. It's funny what you say about Tim being retired finally. Tim Hunter, we're talking about, is the live studio show morning. I think if he got a call, he'd go coach right now. I'm pretty sure that he would.
You know what? I'm not going to say he wouldn't, but like if they in the NHL, like if they said, "Hey,
only NHL."
Yeah, you're going to go back down to the minors somewhere where you're riding buses." And I don't think he would do that. I think he's 63 now or 62 anyway.
He's great shape.
He's in great shape. A little bow-legged, but great shape. And he probably would, because he's got that itch. And some people really have it, and you see guys, you go like, "That guy's still around? Like, where has he been?" And you realize he's gone to like 12 teams in 15 years because he just can't let it go. I let it go. Like, I had no problem with it. Like, the being on the road, it's a long time to be on the road, be away from your family and all that sort of stuff. And you got to have great family, because they realize, especially when you're an assistant coach, you're gone like 12, 14 hours a day.
Yeah.
And the wives are really the heroes in that.
It's not for everybody, but I wouldn't be a real estate agent, so kudos to you. Your phone's on all the time showing. I couldn't do sales. I'd be, "Are you in or you out?"
You're in sales right now.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, but I know what you mean. Hey, before we break, just a second here. I feel the Flames are the #1 team in the NHL, and I can back it up. I said it before the season, and now they've beaten Colorado, Edmonton, and Vegas. Do you think they are?
I think they're better than they were last year. And, you saw how they finished last year. There used to be an old saying, and this is not a slight to Johnny Gaudreau, because he's obviously a very talented player, but we used to have a saying that any time that you can put a player on the ice, that you don't need to put another player on the ice to protect, right? That's a good player. And Johnny's one of those guys, especially during the regular season, he can perform and he can shine. Come playoffs, when it gets a little bit more physical, a little bit tougher, and I'm just saying this because I was 6'2" and I wasn't 5'6" or whatever the heck he is. That's got to be tough for him in the playoffs. And obviously, he didn't perform the way they were hoping for in the last season. And then when he left, it was kind of devastating, I'm sure. But the result was, like I said, I've talked to Dana Merzen and Joel Otto and all my guys, every single person says the same thing. We're a better team now than we were last year. So, to your point, are we the best? I don't know, but we're definitely up there.
You're pretty darn good last year, and now this, and they're playing that way. So what do you expect tonight in this Buffalo game, who Sabres just beat the Oilers 4-2 the other night?
Yeah, I think the whole league is still kind of feeling themselves out. They've got players that are getting a chance to play that maybe haven't had a chance in the past. You've got stars that didn't play their best last year that are really coming out of their, I was going to say their shell, but they're really, performing at the point where they were drafted for. And I think maybe more so than ever, any team can beat any team. And if the Calgary Flames take a period off and maybe more importantly, their goaltending is subpar, they're going to get beat. But when they have, average goaltending or better, in most games, they're going to be the dominant team.
Flames, Leafs, and Wings great Jamie Macoun's with us. If you've got questions, fire them our way. The text line's open, 902-518-3033. We'll be right back to Grey Eagle after this timeout. We're streaming today, YouTube Live, your favorite podcast platform, and on the radio, WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital Ford Lincoln. We have a great selection of brand new F-150s in stock. Drive it off the lot today. Reserve an incoming unit or pre-order the perfect vehicle for you. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital Ford Lincoln, making back to busy easy.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pride. Big time, big time, big time, big time. Big time. I gotta hit the beat.
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
We're live at Great Eagle Event Center. We're at the Stage Bar live studio audience. I'm not sure who we'll have coming down here tomorrow, but it doesn't matter. Tomorrow never comes. Today, it's Jamie Macoun. In hour 1 and in hour 2, it's NHL 13-year veteran Rich Sutter. And we'll get to your questions and comments in a moment. But Sabres in town tonight. We talked a bit about that game. Jamie said it. You could lose on any given night to any given team in the NHL. Ask the Leafs, who lost to Arizona the other night. Do you have a take on the Leafs, your former club? You must.
Incredibly talented. The biggest problem with Toronto, and it's always been, is that there's so much media there, right? They get so much coverage. And, you know, like Jack Campbell, right, you know, he's a pretty good goalie. But the second he'd have, like, a couple games that weren't, you know, top-notch, the media would be all over him. And I think what's happened there time and time again, they're walking on eggshells sometimes, and then as soon as something goes wrong, it's like, I'm just going to play for myself. You know, I've got to get my point, or I got to get my goal. You know, whatever it is they got to do, and at times, you know, because you know they're definitely a very talented team. At times they don't play as a team, and this is from a guy who wasn't the 50-goal scorer, but, you know, played on teams that were, everybody shared. My best example of that is Stevie Yzerman and Sergei Fedorov, you know, Shanahan, all playing in Detroit. I mean, they had other talented players as well. And Yzerman's getting like 140 points a year or something crazy. You'll have to check on that. And they go in and tell him, listen, we don't need you to be the 140-point guy. We need you to be like the 80, 90-point guy and spread it all around and show everybody how to play the game. And suddenly, after that happened, Detroit became like a powerhouse. And what do you have in Toronto? You have, you know, at any given day, you ask any fan, you know, tell me about Toronto. They're going to mention 2 or 3 players every single time. Where in Detroit, they'd be mentioning, you know, they'd be mentioning McCarty and the grind line, you know, guys that aren't getting 100 points and stuff. So it's almost impossible to do, but, you know, it is a problem in Toronto, is that they got to become more of a team. And, you know, the leaders, if you want to call it, like Tavares, I think has been a pretty good leader, although he's had some health issues. You know, if everybody acted a little bit more like Tavares, and a little bit more humble, maybe, I don't know if that's the right word for it, and spread all the you know, the genuflecting to everyone else as well, I think the team would do better.
When I saw Mitch Marner blowing kisses to the crowd the other night in Toronto in the third period, I thought, you guys got big problems. But enough about that. From our viewers, we've got a few questions here. That was after they got booed off the ice. And then he scores and he's blowing kisses to your own crowd. That's what you're talking about. Be humble. Ken Friedman watching and says, I was at Game 7 in Detroit when Nikolai Borchevsky scored in overtime. It felt like the Leafs had won the Stanley Cup. John in Edmonton says, Jamie, what do you think about the Calgary Flames arena talk starting back up for a third time?
Well, you know, I was at that game in Detroit. But, and the arena issue has been a classic case of the, you know, get political, the left versus the right. You know, the right is more like, hey, let the business guys, you know, get in there, but give us a little help. I mean, we're helping the city out. And then the left is all about, let's build a library that 7 people a day go to, right? Like, you know, they spent $250 million on a library. Nobody goes to it, right? Like, but it's good for the city. And so the mayor comes in right away, kiboshes the arena. And I know this for a fact. The Flames and the mayor are talking. They realize they're not going forward, so they say, let's just have a joint statement and we'll put it out in, you know, in 2 or 3 hours. Let's make sure we word it right so that we can go forward from there in, you know, maybe in 6 weeks. The mayor immediately puts it out there. Flames, you know, CSEC, bails on arena, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, Like, what are you doing? Like, it's your first week as a mayor, and you're pissing off half the people in the city. And so anyways, now they're talking about it. They're hoping. The reality is this. The Calgary Flames, because it costs so much to operate the NHL, I mean, any NHL team now, it's like $120 million a year. I'm making it up. I have no idea. $120 million a year, Canadian at least.
That's just a payroll.
Yeah, well, there you go. So maybe it's 140. So the idea that, we can compete with the rest of the league when some of these new arenas have 100 boxes and all this other stuff that goes on, they can't. The simple fact is CSEC at some point would have to leave. I mean, Calgary Sports and Entertainment would have to pull up stakes if there's not an arena built. They don't want to. The owners are great people. They want to stay. But, like up in Edmonton, I'm not sure you know this, but in Edmonton, the owners paid like $25 million for their arena.
Out of their own pocket, yeah.
Out
of his own pocket.
Out of his own pocket.
Yeah.
And also they got the rights to all the land around it to build. So he sold it off to his buddies. He probably made $100 million on the project. Where our guys, when I say our guys, our owners, I think, and I'm not on the inside of it, but they were willing to pay like almost $400 million towards it. And at the end, it was like, hey, you need to pay another $17 million so we can collect the rainwater. And we're like, what? Like, rain falls. Like, we're right beside the river. The water will go to the river. But that's what they said.
Environmental stuff, yeah.
Just ridiculous.
I think you'd agree, though, it helps to have a winning team with the push to get a new rink. So this is a good time to be.
It is a good time. And if we were Arizona, I mean, look at what they're doing. They're playing in a 5,000-seat arena right now, and no one really cares. And Calgary, I mean, I think the way Brad Treliving has performed, everybody talks about the players. He's done an incredible job given the stuff that happened to him, especially this last year. And we've got a good team. We've got some good young players. We've got some good old players. And I think we have two really good goalies. So, like I said earlier to our interview, are we in the top team in the league? I think we're in the top 5 for sure. And if we stay injury-free, we have a real chance at going at the Cup.
One game at a time, as you know.
Yep.
Buffalo Sabres tonight. We talked, I don't know how I should frame this, about your era versus this era. How the players are treated, the money. Because as a fan, and I call myself a fan, I just see it as the same as back then. Well, you're telling me it's nowhere near the same as back then. And it's not.
No, and good for them. I mean, when I say for them, it's good for everybody. The owners are making more money. The teams are worth more money. Like when we won the Cup in '89, somebody told me this. I might be a little bit off, but the complete salary budget was like $6.9 million. The
whole team.
The whole team. And I think that was Canadian. I'm not sure, but somebody will have to correct me on that. And now, I mean, it's $90 million US. So big difference. The teams are making more money. That's why you're paying $10 for a beer versus $2. Guys, and I'm not blaming anybody, but guys that are playing now, they don't realize how easy it is now. I mean, when I was on the road, like especially playing in the West, Mel Bridgman was my first roommate. And Mel said, this road trip that we're on is longer than I've been on the road ever. One road trip. We were gone for I think it was 12 days. And he was playing for Philadelphia. They'd only have one Western swing, and the Western swing would be like 7 days, and everything else they'd just go back home. And we had we always had a roommate, and I actually loved the idea of having a roommate. We always got out of the hotels. We would go to see museums. I mean, it's hard to believe. We'd go and see museums. We'd go see, different things in the different cities. So it was fun. And nowadays, the players tend to be bothered maybe a little bit more, or they think they're bothered more, and they have their own room. They fly in a private jet, all those things. And the private jet is actually a great idea because I don't know how many times you'd be sitting there with your pants down because you're icing your groins, and you'd be sitting beside an old lady, right, who's going like, so come here often? Right? Like,
how about that?
What are you doing? Well, I just hurt myself, and we're off to our next game.
What are you, black and blue?
You're black eye. You're dripping blood sometimes because the doctors weren't anywhere. And but, I mean, that part, the planes, I really like the idea of that because you're paying $10 million for a player. You want him at 100% as best shape he can possibly be for every game. And sometimes, like, I always remember this one time we were in a snowstorm in Boston, and it was the end of our trip, and it had been an 8 or 9 game trip or something, and we got home to the hotel around 1 just because it was snowed in. We left at 4 o'clock for the airport. I think what's it called, Logan Airport there, and we flew to Chicago. Had like a 6-hour layover in Chicago, and then we finally got home to Calgary. It was like 14 hours of travel. And we get there, and the Calgary Herald and the Sun have the same thing. Flames have day off, right? It was a long day. It was as tough as a hockey game. And then we were wearing our suit and ties the whole time, right? Because you always had to have your tie done up. And it was like 6 hours in an airport? Come on.
That's another thing. They're in tracksuits now.
They're in tracksuits.
Traveling, yeah, for sure.
I don't know if I agree with the tracksuits, but one thing that's really changed, I've noticed, and you mentioned the kissing to the crowd and stuff, it just seems like, can you not just score a goal and say, yeah, hey, and acknowledge your teammate? Now everything's like a presentation. It reminds me of basketball, where every single shot, they zoom on to the guys that aren't playing, and they're all like, oh my God, it's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Well, Jamie, I'm going to let you go. I know you're a busy guy. Will I see you at the game tonight?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
No, I'm not. I'm doing some more charity stuff tonight.
Oh, okay, good for you.
From 6 to 9, so I'll miss this one, but hopefully the next one.
All right. How about a hand for Jamie Macoun, guys, if you don't mind? Jamie Macoun showing up here, two-time Stanley Cup champion. We'll be back with a sports update. Rich Sutter in hour 2. It's the RP Show, streaming today on YouTube Live and on the radio, WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital Ford Lincoln. We have a great selection of brand new F-150s in stock. Drive it off the lot today. Reserve an incoming unit or pre-order the perfect vehicle for you. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big, and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital Ford Lincoln, making back to busy easy.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG. Always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM-certified pre-owned trucks. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big, and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
You are looking live at Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, Calgary's entertainment destination, although for tonight that might be the Saddle Dome. There's a good look at what's going on around here. There, Darren, smile, you're on camera. Kevin, too. You can't see it, but there you go. See, a live look in here of our second home. And we'll get to, as I mentioned, viewer takeover here, viewer comments in a second. We went a little long with Jamie Macoun, and I know you won't care because he was such a great guest. But here's what's going on elsewhere. In Langley, BC, Wednesday night, a goal and an assist from Connor Geekie lifted the Winnipeg Ice to a 4-3 win over the Vancouver Giants in the dub. In Kelowna, Carson Bjarnason stopped all 29 shots he faced as Brandon blanked Kelowna 3-0. Up in Red Deer, Ben King scored twice and contributed an assist as Red Deer down Calgary 5-2 in the Centrium. And in Lethbridge, Brandon Lazowski put away the game-winning goal 16:39 into the second period as the Saskatoon Blades topped Lethbridge 3-2. A busy night of NHL action tonight with 12 games on the slate. The Canadiens host the Arizona Coyotes. The Maple Leafs entertain the Dallas Stars. Later, the Vancouver Canucks wrap up a 5-game road swing against the Minnesota Wild. The Oilers take on Carolina. And the Buffalo Sabres are here in Calgary. The nightcap, we'll see the Winnipeg Jets finish off a back-to-back against the Golden Knights in Vegas. And when we say back-to-back, they played last night with that surprising OT win in Colorado. I mean, come on, Winnipeg. Even you're surprised the Jets won in Colorado. Neil Pionk, second of the game, 31 seconds into overtime, ended it. A night off for the Toronto Raptors tonight after a season-opening win. Wednesday, Pascal Siakam put up 23 points and 11 rebounds as the Raptors topped the visiting Cleveland Cavaliers 108-105. For the benefit of our Atlanta listeners, the Hawks won, as they generally do, 117-107 at home to Houston. Tonight in the NBA, only 2 games. The Milwaukee Bucks face the 76ers in Philadelphia, and the Clippers face the Lakers at Crypto.com Arena. Week 7 of the NFL season kicks off tonight with a matchup between a pair of 2 and 4 teams. Kyler Murray and the Cardinals host the New Orleans Saints. The Cards are looking to turn things around at State Farm Stadium, where they've lost 8 straight at home, if you can believe. The sports update for Ito Japan. With freshly made food and high-quality ingredients, Ito Japan is food you can feel good about. Last minute of play in hour 1. Has anybody seen hide nor hair of Rich Sutter? The last time he came in, it was in the middle of the top of the hour news break, as we said, the break. Remember, he's waving his arms like this. Everybody was cheering for Rich Sutter. That happened, Kevin.
How about that?
Well, we could do the walk-in. Yeah. To the text line, Todd, watching in Red Deer. Hey, Rod. Great that you continue to talk about mental coaches for all walks of life. Very important message. Preach, brother, preach. People need to know there is help out. You should take your mental health at least as seriously as your physical health. One day you'll realize it. Hopefully before it's too late. I'll get to the rest of the comments coming back next hour. I'm sure Richie's got to be around here somewhere. We'll be back after this. YouTube and WQEE.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming of the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
No! Can't remember my roommate's name, but we couldn't get into our room, and 2 exotic dancers came down the hallway and said, "Here you go, let us give you a hand with that."
How about that?
I was 16. It was like, whoa. Mandy at Edmonton has checked in, by the way. She says, flashback. I did find glitter around an ex's house all the way into the bedroom. Now you know. No charge.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Here we go, coming in hot into hour 2 of the RPShow, live from the Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. We're at the Stage Bar. It is your #1 source for live sports. 12 NHL games tonight on tap. We can turn our attention to that if you want. We're live streaming on YouTube today. We're on the radio in Atlanta, WQEE. Hey, Ryan O'Radio, I got your message. He loves the Hawks coverage. Our Atlanta Hawks winning to open their season last night, 117-107 against the Houston Rockets. 3 games in the NHL last night, including that big Winnipeg Jets overtime victory at Colorado, and they're at Vegas tonight. I don't mind turning our attention to tonight's games as we welcome 13-year NHL veteran Rich Sutter into the broadcast. How you doing, Richie?
Great, how are you?
Good. You're making me sweat a little bit. I should always realize that you'll be here.
On time.
Never early, though, hey? Why show up early when you can show up on time?
Yeah, that's right.
Thanks for coming up.
Awesome.
So what are you going to do all day? You're going to the Sabres and Flames tonight. What does a guy like you do on a game day? People to see?
Yeah, I got some things to do in town today. Son Luke's in town with the Sabres.
Can you pull your mic in a little closer?
Son Luke is in town with the Sabres, so I want to try and spend a little time and go for lunch with him, and maybe hopefully hook up with a couple of the brothers and go enjoy the game tonight.
It's funny. People ask me if Lanny can go anywhere in this town, and I'm sure he can't without being recognized. What about a Sutter? I mean, the last time you walked in here, you got an ovation. You remember that? Everybody cheered for you.
It's
good.
You do get that a little bit. I think it's kind of funny because in the last year or so, honestly, Rod, people are starting to mistake, me being a twin. But in the last year or so, people are starting to tell me that Daryl and I are starting to look a lot alike. But
that's a first.
I'm getting that all the time now. So
because you're graying a little bit, you're all starting to look a little more similar.
Yeah. So I guess that's not a bad thing. If I guess someone mistakes me for Daryl, but they go, "Hey, are you Daryl?" I said, "No, Daryl's my brother."
Is that right? Yeah. Well, I had this one last story before we actually talk actual hockey. But I had the occasion to be with your nephew, Chris Sutter, Daryl's son, the other night, and I said, "I'm your Uncle Rich's best friend." And he goes, "Yeah, I'm going to call him and ask." And I said, "Go ahead, Chris. I just talked to him." So, yeah. Oh, man, he's the most famous guy in the Saddle Dome. And this vibe with the Flames right now, you go to most of the games, it's very positive, isn't it?
Well, they gotten off to the start that they were hopefully, that they were looking for, obviously, and three really good teams, and being rivals, and these are teams they have to beat in their division. So they're big games. Every game's a big game, though. It's you got to put points in the bank at this time of the year. You got to make sure they're there because boy, oh boy, do they count in the end.
Whoa. Yeah, listen, I'm going to invite viewer questions and comments for Rich, but you just hit on something. The start. Like, do you consider yourself a Blue, a Canuck, a Flyer? Like, what's your number one team that you identify with as a Alum?
Well, I honestly, the teams I played on, the Blues, the Canucks, the Flyers,
you follow
the Blackhawks, great people wherever you've played, and that's a good thing about our sport. And I think the biggest thing is that, I tell my kids now, our younger kids at home, is that just be a fan. Be a fan. Be a fan of our sport. It's a great sport, and I think that's what's awesome. That wherever you go, there's great people.
Well, so there's a lot of comments coming in from the viewers, and I'll get to them. Well, I'll take one, because I want to ask you about Philly losing for the first time under Torts last night, and the Canucks trying to avoid making history again tonight. But James in Borden, Manitoba says, "I think the Eichel trade is going to look pretty bad by the end of this season." I don't know why that would be. He looked pretty good here the other night for Vegas, and Buffalo got some great young players. We're going to see them tonight. But what's your read on that trade?
Well, the biggest thing is you got to, now that he seemingly is healthy, and let's give him a little bit of a runway here from the start of the year. He hasn't played, obviously he came and played a little bit last year, but the biggest thing is for him is see where this takes them, what it does with their group. It's worked out well for Buffalo, obviously. They've got some very good young players in there, and I think that team in Buffalo will just continue to grow. And I really like what they've done there with Kevin and Jason there at the group in Buffalo. They got it right, and the biggest thing is they've just got to remain patient and stay the course.
You want to keep it down out there? Trying to do a live show. That's DuPont, by the way, and our guy Kevin. But anyways, I appreciate that. Were you at the Flames Golden Knights game the other night? Or did you watch it on TV?
I stayed home because I wanted to watch two games.
Couldn't remember.
I wanted to watch two games at once, so.
Because the Oilers Sabres game was on?
I wanted to watch that game too. So
that was the
best
first
way to do it is just stay home, picture on picture.
Well, that was the first time I'd seen Eichel live, and Rich, I've never seen a guy skate that fast, end to end, handling the puck the way that he does.
And
he's something,
effortlessly.
Yeah.
That seems to be the way he can skate, and I think he's trying to still figure himself out there too, right? How he fits in, who he's playing with. The biggest thing is for Jack Eichel, he's got to work. He's got to work away from the puck because he's so gifted. He's such a good skater. There's a lot of times it looks like he's really not working, but he probably is. But the biggest thing is for him is he's got to kind of know where he fits and how he fits in that group. I think they're still figuring that out.
From our viewers, this is great. Jenna in Southern California says, Buffalo will put out the Flames tonight. She's the biggest Sabres fan I know. Allie's watching in Texas. She says, be a fan of hockey. I love that. If I have a favorite, or have a favorite, but be a fan. Totally agree. That's from Allie in Texas. From Northside YEG, he says, club seats at Rogers Place are the best. What great amenities. I will only sit 15 to 22 rows up between the blue lines now. All right, you definitely do get spoiled. But what is your read on the Canucks? I never thought they were that good going into the year, but what they're doing here is historic.
Well, I really believe, Rod, they've got a lot better team than they're showing. There's a lot to like there at that group. Obviously, I think the back end is hurting a little bit. They weren't able to consummate some things that they were probably hoping to do this summer to upgrade the back end. So they're going to have to do it from within, right? And the biggest thing is, the thing that's been most mind-boggling to me is I've watched all their games. They certainly, to some degree, deserve to win a couple of those games, but it's also hard to say that when you blow multi-goal leads multiple times, first time in history of the NHL. So I don't know. They've just got they're a bit of a fragile group right now, and it doesn't get any easier. They're going to Minnesota tonight, and there's another team looking
haven't won yet.
Haven't won and are giving up a lot of goals also. So two desperate hockey clubs tonight. So I hope that hope they can get it figured out there pretty quick.
Well, you saw Bruce Boudreau after the most recent loss saying, he goes, I don't have to say anything in the room. They're angry enough. They had the players-only meeting after the Washington game, and I'm like, I don't ever remember in the first week of a regular season a players-only meeting.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, isn't it? I mean, you look at it, and then, you know, I watched them play the other night in Columbus in the first period or so. They were deserving of a 2-goal lead and easily could have been more. I think they took their foot off the gas a little bit, and it crept back into them. And as soon as that starts to creep back in, you know, you think it's going off the rails as a group. And it's a funny thing. It's just not individual confidence. It's team confidence. And, you know, you look at, I can parlay that in to say what Calgary's got going on right now. Like, fell down 2-0 the other night. They didn't panic. The game before that, they were up 3 goals. Edmonton had a strong second period, got back to within a goal. Didn't panic in the third period. The third period might have been the best period of the game if they won up there. And, you know, so they stay true to the structure. They stay true to themselves in terms of, look, let's just stay with this. And that's a sign of a team that's playing with confidence. It's a sign of a team that's got really good depth, believing in themselves and being patient.
Ken Friedman watching on YouTube says Rich's voice is very calming. I know, isn't it? Have you ever been told that before? Your voice is very calming.
Calming. It's nice to know.
It's nice to know. I'll say something. I met this man in 1996 in the lobby of the Lethbridge Ramada Hotel. You probably don't even remember. You came down to have coffee with Rich Preston, and I just tagged along.
Remember. Yeah, you were one of those guys
tagging along. And I remember,
look where you're at today.
That's still tagging along.
Wow.
But I remember thinking then that I do now. He can't be this nice. Nobody's this nice. Rich is that nice of a person. That's the best compliment I can give you. But you got a nice tan. I can't believe the amount of hiking and outdoor stuff you do. You got a calming voice. You should be a guide, a trail guide.
I was outside all summer.
Yeah.
You know, even all day yesterday. It was such a great day in Lethbridge. It was plus 25 down there yesterday. It was awesome. And thought I'd better get out and enjoy the last day or two before the weather changes. But yeah, no, it's been awesome.
In Montana a little bit.
Hoping to go down.
Got a place there?
Yeah, hoping to go back down next weekend to drop some. We got a bunch of big trees we got to drop in the yard, so they don't land on our house down there. But yeah,
just like the storms in Florida.
Yeah,
but not
quite that bad.
Not quite. You don't have the water rising. How's the music out there? Is it okay? It's not too loud? It's not distracting? You're all good? Okay. Speaking of your former teams, and it's 11:11 Mountain right now and 1:11 Eastern, just pointing that out. The Flyers. Are they for real?
Too early to tell, but I'm not surprised where they're at. Yes, it's only 3 or 4 games in, but, you know, with John, you know, John is such a strong hockey mind. He reminds me so much of Darryl. I just think they're so similar in so many ways. People can say that those people can be very demanding coaches, but you know what? I don't believe they are at all. It is what it is. They believe in a certain way and to play a certain way and do things a certain way. And you definitely knew that they were going to be much stronger defending. So you knew that their Carter Hart and Sandstrom were going to be better in net. Yes, it's still early, but you just know they're going to be a harder team to play against, harder team to score against, a team that will defend better. And am I surprised? No, not at all. I think he's just not a wonderful human being. He's a great coach.
You know, it's funny, in your years in Philly, how many years was it? 3, 4 years?
3.
Would you ever spend time with a guy by the name of Joe Watson?
Awesome man. Awesome man.
I did a banquet with him, and Moose was there in Estevan in May. They brought him back for the Centennial Cup. So you can imagine how upset he's been with the Flyers, right? The last 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And he'd be very happy with the turnaround. Like the guy, I think if you cut him, he'd bleed orange.
Oh, you know, we had such a great time. Been down there a couple times in the last 3 years with events for the alumni. Brad Marsh has done an incredible job down there with their alumni group. The ownership and the Flyers themselves have supported that group so well. And just so much fun to go back there. You know, we were there 2 years ago or 3 years ago, Rod, just prior to the pandemic, and with our alumni group, and we were together. There was 4 decades of players there.
Can't imagine.
I mean,
how many players?
A lot. And the thing about it was even more cool. It was just not so much seeing the older guys like Joe around and spending time with them, which was so much fun. But there was actually some players that had recently played for the Flyers that were still playing in the NHL that also came back. So that speaks volumes about how they treat people there, how the job Marshy's done, and how much people want to come back and support events and functions and charities. And, you know, starting with Joe, you know, it was just, he's just a tip of the iceberg in terms of how he carries himself and what it means to be a Flyer, and how much he enjoys giving back.
About one of the funniest guys I've ever met. Won 2 Stanley Cups in the 70s with the Flyers. He's 79, folks. Richie acted like he was 19. I'm going to bed at 9:30. Him and Moose are going out on the town.
Do you know what we need to do, Rod?
What?
With him? We need to go back up north to do their annual
Smithers, BC?
Yes. I got asked to do it this summer, but it was just schedules and events and stuff going on with family. Just couldn't get around to it. But it's an event that we need to go to.
You played with Ron Flockhart, did you not?
No.
But you know who he is. Obviously, Flyers.
I was traded for Flocky.
Okay. Well, I knew it was around the same era.
We got traded. I went to Philly. He came to Pittsburgh.
So I said to Joe, the only other guy I know from Smithers, BC is a guy by the name of Ron Flockhart. And Joe said, he was the ring bearer at my wedding. He goes, one of them. And he said, Bobby Orr was my best man. I said, how and why did you get Bobby Orr? He goes, well, I needed somebody.
Well, didn't Joe start in Boston, though?
He did,
so
yes,
there you go.
But I didn't.
So there had to have been some connection there.
Yeah. We'll be right back. More with Rich Sutter, and I'll get to your questions. We're live from the Stage Bar, your #1 place for live sports here in Calgary. We are at Calgary's entertainment destination on YouTube Live today, normally Game Plus Television, and on the radio WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time.
Hawaii, and the Four Seasons. Imagine picking up your clubs and feeling like a pro for one whole week in paradise. Well, you can get that chance this December with 5-star accommodations, a 3-day tournament at a championship course, and loads of VIP experiences. The Pro Leisure Golf Tour is going to make you feel like a pro, even if your golf game doesn't. So whether you're looking to grab your golfing buddies for a tropical getaway or just wanting to find an exclusive VIP experience to take part in, the PLGT is perfect for you.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM certified pre-owned trucks and make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy. Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com.
Back live before a studio audience here at Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Rich Sutter's, there you go. Rich Sutter's with us, 13-year NHL veteran. Ken Friedman watching on YouTube says, those were two great interviews. And all this show ever asks is for us to hit the like button. That's all we ask. Rich not going anywhere. He's still here, by the way. But yeah, Jimmy Macoun was great in hour one. Rich Sutter great here in hour two. And we're all getting ready for the Sabres and the Flames here tonight. But Rich, you said you watched two games the other night. Buffalo won in Edmonton 4-2. For the benefit of our Oiler fan viewers, of which there are many, what was your take on that game? Because Jason Gregor was on here yesterday from TSN Edmonton saying the Oilers just got goalied. Eric Comrie stole it. That's simple.
Well, I don't know about that, to tell you the truth. I mean, I think that's, you're hearing that from their side. But look, Buffalo's came a long way in a short period of time. And like I said, they just got to stay the course. They're doing a great job there. Players are buying in. Players are wanting to play for Donnie Granato, I think, which is awesome. As for the game the other night in Edmonton, they were full marks for the first 40 minutes of the game. And, yeah, they got caught on their heels and, let some of the big guys at Edmonton take it to them in the third period. But the goalie's job is to stop pucks, right? Ask any coach that. And that's what Eric Comrie did the other night. The biggest thing is the thing I liked about what Buffalo did was that you didn't see a team cave. You didn't see a team fold. Didn't see a team say, oh, no, here we go again. They stayed true to what they believe in, what they're starting to really believe is going to be give them a chance to compete and to win on any given night against any given team. And they did that in Edmonton the other night, and I think that's going to just increase their confidence level as a group, their belief in their structure. And, it's not going to be an easy game for Calgary tonight. They know that they will have their hands full, and, Buffalo will come in with a lot of confidence.
Was Buffalo ever looked upon as a pushover? Clearly they're not now, but have they been?
Well, I think you don't want to be negative towards the group whatsoever, but, yeah, there were times there that, for a few years, obviously there were struggles, and they're a lot harder team to play against now for sure.
Well, there's a reason they've had high draft picks. So I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but the reason I ask, it's Kevin Adams. People were going, who's Kevin Adams? How's he the general manager? And I'm saying he's got Granato signed to an extension here, pulled off the Eichel trade that seems to be doing okay. Owen Power seems to be okay. Signed Tage Thompson. What's he done wrong?
Well, Kevin's a communicator. Kevin's a personal guy. I'd love to get to know him more. I'd love to go work for the Buffalo Sabres, to tell you the truth.
Well, they have one Sutter on the payroll now.
Yeah, they do. And I just feel that there's a challenge there still, obviously. But what they're doing the right things, and they've drafted well. They got a great development system in place with ex-players that are really involved in overlooking Rochester, working with the young guys, the junior guys as well. I just think they've got so many things going right for them right now. They're going in the right direction for sure. It'd be fun to be a part of that group.
We are, what's tonight? Thursday. We're about 2 weeks into the regular season. Are there any overreactions with, for instance, is San Jose going to remain this bad? You got teams off to great starts. One's here. Are they going to stay this hot? Is San Jose going to stay that bad? What's happened in the first 2 weeks that you don't see continuing?
Well, the thing that's been surprising me is you look at just one example around the league was Game 2. Miles Wood in New Jersey is talking about how that game is a must-win for. We're talking Game 2 of 82 after losing the prior night in Philadelphia. But like I said, these points at this time of the year are so critical. I mean, you talk about it every year. It's like I'll never forget last spring saying to myself, how much fun it is watching games at this time of the year just prior to the playoffs, because how every point counts. And you say, geez, it was so good last year. Now it's even better this year, this past spring. And you look at that and you go, the game is getting better. It's getting more competitive. And points are at a premium. And you can't afford to give away points this time of the year because they always come back to haunt you in April.
Jenna in Southern California is sticking with us. She says, I love all this Buffalo Sabres talk. Well, enjoy it now, Jenna. This isn't Buffalo Sabres television here. So they're in town tonight, so why wouldn't we be talking about them? And Rich's son Lucas works for them. And I appreciate you, Jenna, she's also a huge Ottawa Red Blacks fan. We've talked more Sabres recently than Ottawa for sure. Randy in Winnipeg says, Darlene, 3 goals plus 5. He's the real deal. That's the other thing. With Philly, I mean, great start there, too. Their first loss was last night. I'll ask you about the Panthers, because I've been around them for the last month, and they're like, we didn't trade Huberdeau and Weegar for hockey reasons. It was money. They didn't want to get rid of those guys, and I believe them.
Yeah, I think it's right, too. I think the biggest thing that surprised the hockey world is what Calgary was able to do and get those players out of there. And I think and then what's even a further coup for Calgary and its fans and the organizations that these guys wanted to be here by signing those long-term deals. I think it's awesome for the city. It'll definitely help, in maybe building a new rink here that's badly needed, knowing that there's going to be guys around here to see that at some point. I think it's awesome. The city, look, it's a world-class city that needs a world-class facility. It's just not about hockey. It's about conventions. It's about concerts. About so many economic factors that can come in and help this city and grow it even more.
By the way, some Winnipeg Jets fans writing in, and they want some commentary on their team, and we'll get to that. It was interesting. I don't know if I told you that we're now airing on the radio in Atlanta, WQEE. Shout out to Ryan on radio, who's opping the show right now down there in Metro Atlanta, where they had the Flames and the Thrashers moved to Winnipeg. There's a lot of hockey fans in Atlanta. That is a sneaky hockey town, too.
I love Atlanta. I was there for 2 weeks at the end of my career, and it was awesome.
What was awesome about it?
It's a beautiful city, lots of good people, a fun city, and love their sports.
Oh, do they ever?
You know, so
and they love hockey too. They got the River Kings down there. My guy Jerome, stay out of my yard. Bouchard is the coach of the Columbus team there. So yeah, shout out Atlanta. But to those Jets, I have opinions, but I'll ask for yours. In the early going here, what are you seeing?
Well, I see a team that, it's, obviously Scott Arniel is coaching the group right now with Rick being out. But the biggest thing is, I like the fact that, people think you bring Rick Bowness in, well, you're bringing Dallas Stars system hockey into Winnipeg. That's not happening. They're pushing the game up ice more. Defense are being more involved in the play and obviously last night was a perfect example. Last night, the 2 goals by Pionk. I just think that they're a team that they're playing different hockey, and it's still going to take some time, but they're playing more up ice, more engaged up ice, more involved up ice, and more 5-man units. I like a lot what I see in early going from the Winnipeg Jets.
What's their weakness, do you think?
I think maybe a little bit of depth, but the biggest thing is right now is that they're learning to play the game differently that they haven't played there in a while. And there's guys that have been around there for quite a while, the Scheifele's, the Wheelers, the Ehlers, the Connors, Adam Lowry.
That's talent, man.
So there's a really strong forward group there. And, and there's some talent on the back end too, and look who you got in net still. So this is a good hockey team that just needs to find its way again, get a little bit of swagger back, a little bit of confidence back, but a good group for sure.
Are you a believer in what I've been saying, is specifically last hour, that sometimes coaches have a shelf life? Like I think Paul Maurice did a great job in Winnipeg, but he knew, and clearly they knew, it was time for a change. They're very happy to have him in Florida, and I wish him well and the Jets well too. It just wasn't going to continue. He'd been there a long time.
The biggest thing is there's so many good coaches in the league now, Rod, and the biggest thing, the guys that continue to do well are the guys that continue to adapt to the game, to the youth in this game, and how these young guys think, and finding ways to best utilize these players' abilities. And I think you're seeing that in so many places around the league right now, to tell you the truth, and that says a lot about the coaches.
Speaking of coaches, you casually brought up your brother Daryl last segment. And what I keep hearing from guys that played for him, specifically Jared Stoll is a really good friend of mine. He says there's 2 Daryl Sutters. There's one everybody sees in the media, and then there's the one that the guys see in the room. I've only seen the one side, Rich. You know what that side is. Remember you called me after that banquet he and I did? You're like, what happened with you and Daryl last night? We got in that big fight. I've only seen the one side.
Well, I think the biggest thing with Daryl's a lot smarter person, deserves a lot more credit than some people like to give.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, he don't care about it. But at the end of the day is that Daryl is smart. Daryl adapts, and Daryl has been able to always do that. I'll never forget when he got the job in LA in 2012, how he got raked over the coals about, this will never work. Too many outlets, especially in Eastern Canada, mentioned that, and we're afraid to say it. What did Daryl do in his 4 or 5 years there? Speaks for itself. He just knows how to get through to people. He's not a rah type communicating guy, but he gets into people, gets to know people, and cares about people a lot more than people think. And I don't think he's a guy that's comfortable being in and around the media all the time, but I think if he sat down with you or some individuals on a one-on-one basis, you're going to see a lot different guy, and a guy that cares not just about the game, but those people he's talking to and their lives.
Phyllis in Winnipeg says, I agree with Rich. Jets are playing different than they used to. And she says, I love Daryl Sutter's interviews. LOL. Short and to the point. Well, by the way, with my Flames staff friends, he knows everything that's going on with all the staff's families, all the players' families. Not every coach does. He cares.
I think it's important, Rod. I mean, I know when I worked in Columbus, I wanted to know how people were. It wasn't just about going out and doing my job. I enjoyed when I was in Columbus to go upstairs, say hi to people, walk through the office, say hi to people. They didn't need to know me. I didn't care if they knew me, but I think, when you're in such a huge business in a sport like hockey and being one of the major sports in the world, is that everybody just sees what's going on the ice.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone just sees what's going on behind the bench. No one sees about all the people behind the scenes, the ticket people, the merchandising people, the marketing, the promoting people. Everybody is so important to the team's overall success. I think it's important that they're always recognized. I think it's awesome. It's all about being a people person and caring about the people around you.
And hence winning, and that's why he's won. But it's funny because I met your sister-in-law Wanda for the first time, and you're Rod. What's your last name? What do you do? She was very on point. She cared.
Yeah.
So, but is Daryl the same guy as the one that captained the Chicago Blackhawks?
Well, I don't know if he. In a lot of ways he is, but I think as a coach, you have to. You're dealing with so many different personalities on a daily basis that there's just not enough time in the day, right, to do it. So you gotta your time with your group, collectively and individually. Every minute counts. Every minute's important.
One quick one before the break, and then I'll turn it back to some viewer questions. But there was one of the security guys here yesterday asked who was coming. I said, Rich Sutter. He goes, can you ask him, and that security guy might be working today, but he goes, can you ask Rich, is it true that Gary was the best player? Your oldest brother.
Gary was talented, no doubt.
What type of player was he?
Gary was a right-hand shot, skating, puck-moving defenseman. I'll never forget when I was a little boy watching Gary play midget hockey, take the puck and just go. And that's the type of stuff you see in the high-end players in the NHL today.
Wow.
But at that time, hockey wasn't that big a deal for us. We were playing baseball or fastball, we were playing hockey, and we were farm kids. And we just kind of went with it.
Something you did.
Yeah, something we did. Kept us out of trouble.
We'll be back. More questions coming in for Rich Sutter. We're live from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino on YouTube today. Game Plus Television, on the radio as well. WQEE, your southern home of sports and talk, 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. How about that? Hot damn!
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Hey, check out our website. And when I say our, I mean Grey Eagle. Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.ca for all the wonderful acts. All the wonderful acts this fall and winter. I just walked down the hallway and saw all the posters. Tom Cochran, Pam Tillis, Lori Morgan this weekend, Rich Sutter.
Wow.
Can you believe that? The Grits and Glamour Tour. And I'm not going to be here. Darcy Oak, famed illusionist, son of Scott Oak, star of Hockey Night in Canada.
Is he here too?
October 29th.
Wow.
Might be able to get you tickets if you want, if you'd make the trip up.
Whitefish.
You're gone? You got it booked? Good for you.
Hopefully.
Those Yellowstone stars been around there?
No.
They still go around there, though, don't they? Don't they?
I think so, but try and keep those outsiders out as much as possible.
That's what I hear. They're more Missoula area, are they not?
Yeah, further south.
Yeah. You brought up last segment, and by the way, Rich Sutter with his 13-year NHL veteran and season 5 of Yellowstone coming out next month. You mentioned the new arena. Actually, before I get to that, I promised viewer questions, so I should do that.
Go ahead.
JT says, how about them Montreal Canadiens so far? Baby steps setting up for the immediate future. What do you think about them?
Well, it might be baby steps, but I don't think it's for the immediate future. I think there's a little bit of a road to hoe there, but again, there's another team that's got to stay true to the path, to the plan, and hopefully their picks come along. Hopefully some of the trades work out, and that they continue to just find ways, because it's going to be a tough road to hoe there, but. Again, another team with a lot of, I think, smart people, a lot of good people that are just going to have to stay with it, stick with it, and be patient.
I love what Martin St. Louis said last week when he goes, I don't need this financially. It's like, I'm doing it because I want to. Isn't that great?
Well,
I thought it was.
Isn't that what a lot of people in this sport or any sport, if you're passionate, is it really
Doesn't matter with the salary.
I mean, look at your job, Rod. I mean...
Is it a job?
Right? So, yeah, when you do something you love, it's not really work. It's actually a good you're fortunate.
Oh yeah.
And should be grateful every night you hit your head on the pillow.
Bingo. Ted in Red Deer wants to know if you ever played for the Red Deer Rustlers.
Yes, Centennial Cup champions. Ronnie and I were 15. Brent was 16 or 17. And we had a heck of a year that year. I played 117 games. I think we only lost 26 times or something that year. Won Centennial Cup.
You know, it's funny. When I said that we were in Estevan in May with Joe Watson and Alum May, it was for the Centennial Cup. I mean, you got to come next year. That's what it was.
That was the first year they've renamed it or brought the name back, right? Because you always was a Royal Bank, and now it's back to the Centennial.
Now it's the Centennial Cup presented by Tim Hortons, just so you know.
Still Centennial Cup.
Right, and that's where our relationship with Hockey Canada was forged, because they were there in Estevan.
Where is Centennial Cup next year?
Portage. Right, Moose? Isn't it Portage?
Bingo!
I'm pretty sure it's Portage.
What's their rink like?
Manitobans, tell me, what's the rink like in Portage? I think it's okay. And then we'll be in Halifax for World Juniors. You want to come there?
How about, and isn't Memorial, where's Memorial Cup?
Kamloops. I'd love to be at the Memorial.
There we go,
Probably
Rod.
more than any of them.
Here we go, Rod.
This May, yeah. Well, that's not a Hockey Canada event. because our deal is with Hockey Canada, but I think we could make something happen. Oh, it's funny, by the way. Stephen Lillick, our intern, writes in and says, is Jamie Macoun still the most hated hockey player in Winnipeg? Honestly, I didn't either know the story or I forgot it. Last hour, he told the story. He's legitimately hated downright in Winnipeg.
I didn't know that.
I didn't really either. He broke Dale Howardchuck's ribs for them in the playoffs.
Slash?
Cross-check.
Oh, yeah.
And he said Howardchuck was coming over the blue line, and he thought Dale was going to go one way, put his stick up, and he went the other way, and wango, broke his ribs.
That's a good thought, Jamie.
And in Winnipeg. And they still think, listen, Winnipeg, they still think they were going to win the Stanley Cup if that hadn't happened. I'm like, it's kind of hard to say that.
Yeah.
That's a division series. Portage says T. Will in Winnipeg. He says Portage has a very nice rink.
Perfect.
T. Will also says, so if the Jets beat the defending Stanley Cup champs, does that mean they are now the defending Stanley Cup champs? Isn't that how it works? He's joking, of course, but that was a really big. That had to be a huge win for Winnipeg.
I was so happy to see them win last night, and I think, you know, back-to-back nights, they've had a tough trip here. I mean, I know it's not a long one, but Dallas, Colorado, Vegas, big teams, and obviously huge. The first two games, division rivals, but tonight back-to-back is tough. Vegas has got a good group, and I think it'll really say a lot about their group tonight.
Hey, for sure. And so now the viewers have really perked up. Corey May in Winnipeg says, Portage La Prairie has a great arena. It's not huge, but fairly new and a fun place to watch the Terriers. The Barflies is his name. He says, how many games does that cross-check get today? I can't even picture it in my mind, but what I can is the Stanley Cup playoffs 1987, which you told me the final, you weren't there? You'd just been traded?
Correct.
Okay. The Hextall slash on Kent Nilsson. We were all watching it. It was being played here during the pandemic. Forget about suspension. They're putting Ron Hextall in jail for that now.
I remember Hexy's slash more going after Chelly against Montreal. You know, that's when it got wild. I mean, you want to talk about a wild playoff series. That was one to remember.
Well, shockingly, Kent Nilsson popped right up like he wasn't even hurt. So I don't know if he got him in the wrong place. But the one with, like, that was a little more of a blocker shot on Chelly, was it not?
Oh.
Well, I got to go back and look.
Hexy got a whack in there.
People wouldn't even believe it now if they watched the video, which reminds me, listen, these guys, you know, these security guys at the front are just great guys and huge hockey fans. And they're upset that the Battle of Alberta isn't what it used to be. And they did bring up the Cassian Tkachuk, the goalie fight the other few years ago, but it wasn't like the 80s.
No, Talbot and Smith.
Right.
You know, no, the thing I'm a little bit disappointed in is that, you know, these teams only play each other 3 times this year. Calgary is done already in Edmonton, and honestly, I think the Oilers are in here on the 29th of October, and then December 27th. Then they're done. I mean,
that's it until playoffs.
Yeah, so it's kind of wild that you only have 3 times and you're done before the turn of the calendar year.
Listen, before you go, and actually, Jamie McCowan asked me to ask him, and I didn't. I forgot. So I'll ask you about those playoffs last year for the Flames. And Gaudreau and Tkachuk, they were non-factors for the most part. What do you think the Flames will do this year? If they doesn't matter who they line up against, but do you think they'll have a longer run? Is the Stanley Cup something that we should be talking about now?
I think it's early, Rod, to be honest with you. The biggest thing is it comes down to good health, good fortune in the springtime, team that's on a roll, feeling good about themselves. And you got to have big nights every night from your best players. There's no doubt about it, and that starts with your goaltender. And if your goaltender is going to struggle, well, you're going to struggle as a group too, because you're not going to win in the playoffs scoring 6 goals a night. Doesn't work like that. I know that's not Calgary Flames' way to win hockey games. You're going to see this team is going to be probably more comfortable winning a 3-2, 2-1, maybe a 4-3 game than they're going to be in these 6-4 games, type games. So, and they've got this group to do it. There's no doubt about it. They've got the depth. They've got structure. I like what they're doing. I like their group.
I believe Jacob Markstrom's the guy. They're paying him $6 million a year, but him waving the other night and that puck going in scared me a little bit.
He's still trying to find his game this early in the year, so hopefully he can get that on track.
All right. Rich, this is awesome coming down and talking hockey. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Rod.
Rich Sutter, and we'll be back with Overtime right after this. We're live from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, and you're watching on YouTube, Game Plus TV, and on the radio, WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
beat. I gotta hit the beat.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right. And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM certified pre-owned trucks and make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
All right, one more time, live from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. It must be getting close to Friday because some of the football questions are coming in on the text line. It is overtime, and the Moose is there. As you see, he is on the couch. We've really recreated the bunker thing here, and people are liking it. We've been doing it all week, but now we're finally able to show people via the camera. So way to go, Jordan. Is it Director Jordan? Is he the guy?
He's crushing it.
Yeah.
Really
Bingo.
is. No, really proud of, we talk about this show and stuff, and
we're always moving forward. We may not be where we want to be completely, like these shots will all get better and better and better, but we're always moving forward. And him being able to adapt back at the, HQ has been awesome.
Something from the recovery world. Progress is still progress. Doesn't matter how slow. Right, Kevin? Progress is progress.
Yes.
As long as you're going the right way. Hey, I just want to slip in a sports update here. Overtime is brought to you by the Four Seasons Sports Palace, your home for the National Football League and the UFC. Justin Verlander and the Houston Astros got the jump on the Yankees last night. Now they'll try to take a 2-0 lead in the American League Championship Series with an all-star lefty, Framber Valdez, pitching against Yankees right-hander Luis Severino tonight in Houston. Verlander struck out 11 in the Astros 4-2 win in Game 1 last night. The NLCS between San Diego and Philly picks up on Friday in Philly with the teams tied 1-1. By the way, guy in the gym this morning, he's from London, Ontario. And I walked in there this morning, and he was just wrapping up his workout. And I said, do you mind if I change the channel? He had it on the news channel, right?
Yeah.
So he's like, no, go ahead. I'm just wrapping up. And I said, did I miss anything? As I flip it to TSN. I watched SportsCenter 4 times today. He says, the Prime Minister in London's resigned after 45 days, and BC has a new premium. I'm like, what? What? Who cares? What happened in the NHL last night?
That's more important.
Well, yeah.
Way more important.
Watch the news. What's that got to do with anything? All 7 Canadian teams are in action tonight in the NHL. Toronto hosts Dallas. Ottawa entertains Washington. Montreal home to Arizona. Vancouver visits Minnesota. Winnipeg is at Vegas. Oilers welcome Carolina. And Calgary hosts Buffalo. Week 7 of the NFL kicks off in Arizona tonight with the Cardinals hosting the Saints. Both teams have lost 4 of 6 games this season. This sports update for Ballers Rec Room, home of the RPShow Grey Cup Party. Get your tickets now. It's Friday, November 18th. Stop in at Ballers and ask for details. Also for the Tap Brew House and Drive-Thru Liquor Store, and for Red Bull Canada. Red Bull gives you wings. Beautiful thing, Moose, about being here. I don't know how you feel. We've been here not quite a week, but you're immersed in the hockey world, right? And you got your Jets jacket on there. And what I love about, it's like Hannah Montana, that TV show, the best of both worlds. In South Florida, it's all football all the time. You're immersed in that. Although we have NHL there. You come to Alberta, it's all NHL, man. 12 games tonight. We could sit and talk about that for 2 hours. And so tomorrow's a football Friday. And who's on tomorrow, Clark? I didn't catch it. Sorry. Love it. Jock Wilson and Ryan Ballantyne down here tomorrow talking ball live at the Grey Eagle, moving into week 20. So I guess my point is you kind of just soak up the environment you're in.
You do. Absolutely. And it's completely the opposite. It's all hockey all the time, but there's football here, and they do talk about it a little bit. And in Florida, it seems like it's all football all the time, but there's hockey a little bit, and they talk about it. So you get the full mix, and, I really like it. I love it a lot.
By the way, I got a bit of a bomb to drop Friday. So hang on until Friday. It's a football discussion. It's CFL related, and I think it'll really get tongues wagging. I want to, for those that are watching right now, the CFL fans, I was not misquoted, but I was misunderstood by the Twitter account CFL News. I had written today that Cody Fajardo's being scapegoated by being benched by the Rough Riders for their problems. And I maintain that. But they made it look like in their tweet regarding my morning commentary that I'm saying the board of directors allowed that to happen for Cody to be Fajardo, for Fajardo to be scapegoated. The board of directors has allowed all of this mess to happen. They're going to miss the playoffs the year that they're hosting the Grey Cup. They've lost the title of the marquee franchise in the CFL to Winnipeg. All of that has been allowed to happen by the board of directors over the last 6-7 years. It's not just about Cody. Do you see the difference?
Yeah, I see the difference.
You're around me all the time. Am I that hard to understand? Honestly?
No.
Be honest.
No, I don't think so for the most part. But again, people only hear things with the narrative that's already in their head, right?
Hot damn. There you go.
But that's it. You have a preconceived notion. So you're already forming your own path and your own opinion while somebody else is talking. We'd be so much further ahead if you could just listen to things with an open mind and then formulate the opinion afterwards, right?
Bingo.
I didn't think it was that.
Well, they're making it look like I said the board of directors have some say over Cody Fajardo being benched. That's not what I'm saying. You believe what you want to, but I don't think that I'm that on another planet. But maybe I am. It's a nice planet. I said that there's some football questions coming in. Kenny Gill is watching in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and he says, if Bo Levi and Cody Fajardo are starting for XFL teams in the spring, are Canadians tuning in? You know, we had a minute and a half for this. There's a reason we call it Football Friday, because that's where we save the football discussion for. If you notice, it was the highest viewership today that we've had in a long time for hockey. But on the football thing, if those guys go to the XFL, nobody's watching any more than... No. I don't think they are, man.
They're not.
I've gotten out of the vacuum that is Ryderville and the CFL, and I see it now from the outside and realize last minute of play in the RPShow. Last minute. I see that it's not what everybody else sees when you're in the vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
Canadians aren't watching the XFL, even if those guys are in it.
No, they'll watch the XFL because they're tuned in because the XFL's got their attention for The Rock and for whatever other reason. They're not going to follow those guys to different places. You're a fan of your team. They're not that big of Bo Levi Mitchell fans that they're going to follow him and watch him wherever he goes. It's not a case. That's not a slight to Bo. We wouldn't have done that with any player in the Canadian football league, really. I mean, we barely did that with Doug Flutie. We didn't watch Buffalo Bills games and Patriots games because Doug Flutie was there. We watched it because it was the NFL. And we love Doug Flutie.
See, that's why he's not just a pretty face, this kid, the Moose. We didn't get to your NFL top 5 yet, but we will tomorrow. So
Okay.
I assume you still have the list, but it hasn't changed.
Hasn't changed.
Right. Okay. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, Jamie Macoun. Thank you, Rich Sutter, and the live audience. We'll see you tomorrow, noon Eastern, here on the RP Show. Bingo.
Who has more fun than us?
How about that? Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. Hoorah! Spicy! Hell yes! Done deal! Bingo! Sold! LFG! Bob's your uncle!